Pam Bondi's combative House Judiciary Committee testimony, Oversight, Epstein files and political fallout. On February 11, 2026, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi appeared before the House Judiciary Committee for the first segment of a much-anticipated oversight hearing on the Justice Department's performance and priorities under her leadership. The hearing, which was live-streamed by C-SPAN, quickly became one of the most contentious congressional appearances in recent memory, encompassing multiple political flashpoints including the Justice Department's handling of Jeffrey Epstein files, questions about transparency, and broader concerns about the department's independence. Backdrop: why this hearing matters. Bondi's testimony was part of routine congressional oversight, but the stakes were high. Lawmakers from both parties sought answers on how the DOJ handled sensitive investigations, particularly following the release of millions of pages of documents related to convicted sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. The committee session was set against a backdrop of public scrutiny about missed deadlines, redaction errors that exposed victims' information, and allegations of political influence affecting prosecutorial decisions. Epstein files in the spotlight. A focal point of the hearing was the Justice Department's release and redaction of materials tied to Epstein's crimes. House members pressed Bondi on whether the DOJ complied fully with the Epstein Files Transparency Act, a law requiring broad disclosure of Epstein-related documents, and how the department addressed numerous public criticisms. Redactions and omissions. Lawmakers from both parties demanded explanations for why certain names appeared to be overly redacted, potentially shielding influential figures, while victims' names reportedly appeared in some publicly released documents. Victims' presence and testimony. Several Epstein survivors were present in the hearing room. Representative Pramila Jayapal, Democrat, Washington, asked Bondi to directly apologize to them for the DOJ's handling of files, a request Bondi declined, calling it a political stunt. Accusations of a cover-up. Ranking Member Representative Jamie Raskin, Democrat, Maryland, and others accused Bondi of failing to protect victims and failing to pursue justice for Epstein's co-conspirators. Bondi responded that any improper disclosures were inadvertent and emphasized the DOJ worked under tight deadlines to comply with the law. Clashes across party lines. What could have been a procedural hearing devolved into fierce exchanges. Personal exchanges. At one point, Bondi called Representative Jamie Raskin a washed-up, loser lawyer, drawing sharp reactions and highlighting the heated nature of the proceedings. Republican support and criticism. While many Republican committee members backed Bondi's efforts to combat violent crime and execute DOJ priorities, Representative Thomas Massey, Republican, Kentucky, who has been critical of the DOJ's handling of Epstein documents, pressed Bondi on specific redaction issues, illustrating divisions not just along party lines but within them as well. Broader DOJ oversight issues. Democrats also framed their criticism more broadly, alleging the department has been weaponized to target political opponents of President Trump and his allies, a charge Bondi rejected and described as political theatrics. Bondi's defense and DOJ priorities. In her opening remarks, Bondi sought to frame her tenure as a defense of victims and a return to core law enforcement missions. She highlighted the DOJ's work to release millions of documents, protect privacy where required, and address violent crime and immigration challenges. However, critics called her answers evasive and emphasized a lack of accountability or clarity on key issues. What comes next? The hearing concluded after hours of questioning, but the disputes are far from over. Congress is expected to continue pressuring the Justice Department for clearer compliance with transparency laws and for improvements in how sensitive materials are reviewed before public release. Furthermore, continuing divisions over the DOJ's role in politically charged investigations, and broader concerns about department independence, are likely to keep this topic at the forefront of U.S. political debate.